Hi, my name is Luciana and I'm going to talk about the migration understanding. Migration is the movement of people from one place to another for reasons like economic opportunity, safety, or family reunification. It is a complex and multifaceted social phenomenon shaped by political instability, economic conditions, environmental changes, and social networks. The most important definitions are migrant, anyone who moves from one place to another regardless of the reason or legality of the move. Refugee, someone forced to flee their country due to persecution, war, or violence. They have a well-founded fear of persecution based on race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or social group membership and are protected by international law. And finally, asylum seeker, someone who has fled their home country and is seeking sanctuary in another country, awaiting a decision on their asylum claim to receive legal and protection assistance. Comparison and contrast. Migrant is a broad term, while refugees and asylum seekers are specific categories of migrants fleeing persecution and seeking protection. Refugees have been granted protection under international law, while asylum seekers are in the process of applying such protection. Migrants move for many reasons, but refugees and asylum seekers move primarily to escape danger and persecution. One of the migration challenges is the legal and administrative barriers. The root causes are political policies. Restrictive immigration policies and complex legal frameworks create significant barriers for migrants, particularly refugees and asylum seekers. The consequences are the poor living conditions in detention centers, leading to severe physical and psychological trauma. Also, families often separate during processing, causing mental damage to children. And the second challenge is the social and economic integration. The root causes are economic factors, obstacles in securing employment due to language barriers, lack of recognition of qualifications, and labor market discrimination. The consequences are economic exploitation. Migrants are often forced into exploitative labor conditions with little resources for wage, wages, and safe working environments. On the conclusion, addressing migration challenges, especially for refugees and asylum seekers, requires comprehensive policies that consider political, economic, and social factors. Effective integration and fair legal processes are essential for migrants' well-being and contribution for their communities.
One clear example, the perpetuation of false identities and stereotypes about migrants is the portrayal of Central American migrants in the United States as criminals and a threat to national security. This narrative has been well disseminated by certain political figures and media outlets. For instance, the ex-former President Donald Trump frequently referred to migrants as rapists and criminals, contributing to a climate of fear and suspicion. The impact of this misinterpretation is profound and multifaceted. Firstly, it fosters xenophobia and discrimination, making it harder to migrants to integrate into society. They face increased hostility and violence, as evidenced by the rise in hate crimes against Latinos in the US. Additionally, these stereotypes influence immigration policies, leading to harsher measures such as family separations and prolonged detentions, which cause immense psychological and physical harm to migrants. In summary, the false portrayal of Central American migrants has criminal extrovert social dimension undermines the well-being of migrants. False policies that violate human rights. Now we're gonna try to answer the question: which one do you think is more important, the right to migrate or the right to not migrate? The right to not migrate means people shouldn't have to leave their home countries due to poor condition. It emphasizes creating political, economic, social, and environmental stability so citizens can lead dignified lives while feeling forced to migrate. In contrast, the right to migrate ensures individuals can move freely and choose where to live based on personal decision, not necessity. It upholds the fundamental human right to mobility and autonomy. Both rights are interconnected and equally significant. The right to not migrate addresses the root causes of migration, fostering civil societies, while the right to migrate respects personal freedom and self-determination. Prioritizing the right not to migrate helps prevent forced migration by improving conditions at home. However, the right to migrate complements this by following individuals to seek better opportunities or reunite with family. Together, these rights support sustainable development and the protection of human rights.
Migration is a process that takes place between two nations. Therefore, they share responsibilities such as legal, ethical, and humanitarian responsibilities. Starting with the country of origin, that should protect the human rights of these migrants, ensuring safety, security, and basic needs. Therefore, reducing the push of factors of migration. Providing documentation, in the case of a migration, they should be legally able to enter another country and have an agreement with both nations. Ethical responsibilities include developing economic, educational, and social opportunities such that migration is not a necessity, as well as addressing root causes or providing their solution to issues such as corruption, violence, and persecution that some migrants might be forced to migrate. Now to the country of destination. The legal obligation of this country should be to follow international agreements, such as the 1951 Refugee Convention, that states that a refugee should not be returned to a country where they face serious threats to their life or freedom, as well as having non-discrimination processes that do not discriminate based on nationality, race, or other factors. The ethical responsibilities mean that implementing policies that promote the integration of migrants, such as education, healthcare, and employment, that make it easier for migrants to include into society, as well as respect human dignity and human rights, treating migrants with a humanitarian view. And in the case of it being a refugee fleeing from a country flooded with violence, they should provide humanitarian aid and try to the reunification of the family. Therefore, they share responsibilities and they should attain to the collaboration that they create. Responsibilities that are shared by both nations are to communicate the data from migrants and to address the root causes between both nations as they are affected both, such as persecution, violence, or war that may happen between these nations.
Global citizenship is not a legal status, but a constructed identity based on moral commitments such as human rights and social responsibility. Global citizens understand how the various systems of the world work on a global scale. They have respect and value diversity, and also have a motivation and willingness to act to make the world more just and sustainable. With this wider view in mind, the problem of migration can be represented by more than just statistics and reducing people's lives to numbers, but rather understanding the humanity and dignity of each and every human being. This philosophy is the biggest contribution and differentiator between a normal and a global citizen. These are some of the ways in which a global citizen can address these challenges. First, by crowdsourcing solutions by implementing online hackathons focused on developing new solutions to migration problems. This will allow for a global solution that benefits from diversity of ideas from people around the world. Also, by using social medias and digital platforms, it has never been easier to give a louder voice to migrants and also make it easier for them to connect with available resources. Sometimes, cities have dedicated programs and resources destined for migrants, however, they are not heard from. Finally, migrants can be involved in the policy-making process by creating advisory councils or committees that provide input on the policies affecting their lives and their migration status. In design thinking, empathy is the start of the process towards building a solution. Maybe politicians think of this problem based on their own experience and rather than empathize to understand the real problematic. Finally, volunteering and donating are the more available and established actions toward migration and many other problematics.